Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Big Mike here. Hey, have you ever thought about raising quail? I raise quail, or I have been raising quail for about 3.5 years now. And I'm going to tell you something. The reason I raise quail is because I absolutely love the way quail tastes when Miss Terrie prepares it. It's just one of those meats that you just can't get enough of. Yes, they're small, but the protein quality and the taste just can't be beat. And that's why we raise, I would like to say, meat quail, if you will. Now, the quail that we have here in the shop, and I keep mine inside my shop to, if you know anything about the past with our channel, we have had a heck of a time with predators. And quail have so many predators, you just can't, I mean, it's crazy. Snakes, raccoon, skunks, coyotes, just bobcats, just everything wants to eat them, to include Big Mike and Miss Terrie. So we keep them in the shop here just to keep them safe and stuff like that. One of the biggest thing you got to know about quail. Now this is basically a 101 on, hey, you want to start raising quail. Let me give you a little bit of information to get you started and give you the pros and the cons of raising quail. First of all, quail are messy, okay? And you're gonna learn that right off the get-go. If you keep your quail outside and the droppings go on the ground, yeah, you can let it build up and stuff before you have to clean it all up and move it to compost piles or whatever, if you're gonna use it for gardening and stuff like that. And that's what we do, but we keep them indoors, and I'm gonna show you how we do the messy cleanup. So them being messy is number one, okay? They eat, they drink, they poop, they lay eggs, okay? That's what they do. And I just absolutely like working with them. They're a little skittish sometimes, but all in all, I can pick them up, I can handle them and stuff like that, and it's no big deal. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I just want you to be prepared for what's in store when you raise quail. We're going to talk about the housing, we're going to talk about the feed, the watering, and a whole bunch of information just for you to get started. Now, here on our homestead, we raise Craturnix quail, either the dark or the white Craturnix. And I just feel that, you know, people who start raising and breeding quail just find it really satisfying, just like we do. It's not a lot of work. I probably put in maybe 15 minutes a day to take care of the quail. And that's basically giving them fresh water every day and feeding them. And then when the day comes when it's time to cull our flock, then doing that and dispatching them is just too easy, guys. And I think we did a video a while back where I showed you how to clean and prepare quail, and it's really simple. Nothing like doing chickens, guys. Nothing. I can do 15 quail in about 10 minutes. It's just really easy. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm glad you're here. So let's get ready. Let's learn about quail. It's Quail 101 with Big Mike. There you go. Okay, so quail. Let's start at the very beginning. The way we started, we got about 8 quail from Jake down at Nunya, Texas. we picked those up, and then we started right away incubating eggs. And the eggs, they're in the incubator in the trays for about 15 days. And then we take them out of the trays, put them on the grate, and then at about day 18, they all start hatching. Some earlier than others, just depending on how long you have your eggs setting out. Now, once the quail are hatched, quails mature in 8 weeks, okay? They start laying eggs again at 8 weeks and start breeding. Males are very aggressive, so you got to know that. Quail will breed and lay eggs for about 2 years, where chickens, you'll get those, and about month 5 or 6, they'll start laying eggs. And chickens lay eggs for what, about 5-6 years max. And quail only, like I said, only do it for 2 years. So in those 2 years, you have to think about a few things. Are we going to continue with the quail and then hatching out the eggs to replace the ones that you cull out like we do? Now, you might get to a point with quail where if you breed them and you hatch their eggs out and you introduce the males and females into your flock, you might feel like, hey, you're kind of breeding them to where they're, I guess, being sterile. And that's not the case with quail. We did introduce the dark quail to change up the males with the white Coturnix hens. I found that the darker ones, for some reason, get a little bit bigger than the white Coturnix quail. And why that is, I don't know. I'm just a homesteader doing my thing here. But you're going to find out that you're only going to get, if you like the eggs and you like to pickle the eggs or you like to eat the eggs and stuff like that, about 2 years is the max that you're going to get out of your quail. Unlike your chickens, I said again, 5 to 6 years you can get eggs from them. But the meat production that you get from them, if you can raise quail and hatch out eggs, and you can have your breeding flock, and you can have a pen where the ones that you're going to process out, then hey, you can do that for 2 years before you introduce new quail into there, into the hutch for them. Quail are, they can, unlike chickens, let's put it this way, unlike chickens, they don't make noise. When they lay eggs, the hens will make little peeping sounds, and you know they're getting ready to lay an egg. Where a chicken has got to tell the whole world, you know, that they just laid an egg, and they're so proud, and they're squawking and squawking and squawking. And Terrie's got 40 hens, so you can imagine it's just noise all the time. Now, your roosters, they make a crowing sound, and a lot of times they do that after they get done breeding a hen, or they just want everybody to know, hey, I'm a rooster or whatever. And they'll do that, and you might hear that while we're talking on this video. So let's talk about the housing of your quail. Quail need about a 1 square foot of space per quail in your hutch, depending on what style you want to build. Some people, like me, I have this type of hutch right here. It's up off the ground. I do have room underneath there to put another layer of quail, which could be done really easily by building another hutch. And some people like to put them on the ground. Now, there's benefits in both types of pen. The natural pen where they're on the ground and you got plants and sticks and all that kind of stuff. Remember, quail don't roost, okay? They stay on the ground. One of the things that that's a rooster, that you'll understand is they'll try to fly up. And one of the things you have to do when you build whatever an aviary, I don't even know that word means, but it's where birds fly around, okay? Or a hutch like this, you want to keep it about, right now mine's 2 foot high, okay? And the reason we do that is when they take off and they get some speed, even in my pen, they'll hit the top wire, or if you have a solid top, they'll hit that. They'll break their neck and they're dead, okay? They'll scramble their brains on impact and then you've lost one. I keep the wire on top. I only have wood on the back side. And that was because at one time I was going to put a drinking system on the back side, go through the wood and put the cup system in there, but I didn't do that. It's just too easy, 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day with your quail and stuff like that. So we use the jug method to water our quail. But back to the housing. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that they get a lot of air. In here, in the summertime, I keep one door open, the front door open of the shop, and I leave the back roll up halfway, so I get a breeze through here to take some of the heat. Now, quail are very hardy birds. They can take extreme cold and they can take a lot of heat, okay? And that's what makes them a good choice of meat type bird if you want to raise them, okay? So they can take that heat and they can take that cold. They don't have combs and stuff like that. So when they do get chilled, they'll just go down and like they're broody, and they cover up their feet and they stay warm that way. And they do keep their body temperature up all year round to keep themselves warm, and they'll drop that in the summertime to keep themselves cool. Being outside would make sense so you can have that natural air flowing and stuff like that if you're going to keep a hutch or a ground pen for them. So we decided to do this right here. It's just really easy and simple to take care of them until they start molting. Then you got feathers everywhere. So this pen right here is 7.5 foot long and it's 2 foot deep. And I did that so that I can reach in and touch the back wall and I can grab my birds as I need them, or if one of them's injured, I can separate them and stuff like that. If it gets too deep now, they're all over the place because they know something's going on and the first thing they want to do is flight. Okay, they want to get away and stuff like that. But I can open it up and I can just grab one. Ours are really tame because I handled them since they were baby chicks and stuff. So that's the rule you want to do. So I can keep about 15 quail. Right now I have 19 and they seem to be doing really well. And this space gives them the wire, and I use mesh wire. Okay, it's really strong wire, just in case something gets in here. Plus, like I said before, snakes. Now we have these trays down here, and I pulled one out, and there was a black snake on there. Now, you know Mike don't like no snakes, right? So I had to call Terry. And then Brittany came out here when she was homesteading for us, and there was one in there also. So they can get up in here, but they can't get past that woven wire. So that's a clue. I walked in here and they were just making a racket. All of them, the hens, the roosters, and I was going, wow, what are they doing there? And that's what I found out, that there was a big old black snake curled up in one of these trays. And man, I'm going to tell you something. I about pooped my pants. I'm going to tell you what. So that's the reason you want to use this. Don't use chicken wire. Snakes could get inside there. and they'll eat your birds up and they'll be gone. With chickens, you got to worry about the eggs, the snakes getting to the eggs. With these guys, they can swallow one of these guys, choke them out and swallow them. So that's what you want to think about. So depending on how many quail you want to raise, make sure when you're building it, okay, I'm going to have 20 quail, so I should have 20 square foot of space for my quail, okay? And that's it, guys. I put on doors. I've got 3 doors on here so I can get into each section, and it's no problem. And I can pull these pans out, and we're going to show you that in a minute. But you can pull the pans out, get your wheelbarrow, scrape it off in there, put them back underneath there, and you're done. You might need a shop vac every once in a while when you're pulling them out. I change mine every 2 weeks. What we did for this one, I didn't change these out for a month, okay? And you're going to see that. But that's it, guys. If you just take a look, all my stuff on top is for rabbits, for quail, waters and stuff like that. And it's just, that's what they do. Now, people might say, well, you have them on wire, okay? Quail's feet are tough, okay? They're really tough. Now, you can buy that, I guess it's woven wire that's dipped in some kind of rubbery stuff or plastic. You could use that, but if it peels off for some reason and you don't want your quail to start messing with it and eat one of those, now they got a piece of plastic in their throat or in their craw and stuff like that, and they're not going to process it. So that's all you have to do, guys. Simple as that. And it was so easy to build, and I'm not going to say they're happy, but they've got the space that they need. Okay, so let's talk about feeding and watering quail. What does a quail eat? A lot of people will tell you that you need to buy game bird crumbles for your birds. And that's good because you can get it up to 30%. And it's very good, especially for quail you just hatched and stuff like that. We use a meat bird feed. It's 22%, and we feed that to our quail throughout their lifetime. And we have not had a single problem using that. From the baby quail all the way up to our adults. Game bird feed can cost you up to about $29 for a 40-pound bag. Or if you can find it cheaper, then more power to you. But that's pretty expensive, especially as much as these birds eat and how much poop they produce. That's a lot of money. So, hey, that's recommended. A lot of people will do that, or baby turkey starter is high in protein. You can get that up to 25%, I believe it is. But game bird is the highest at 30. We did do that at the beginning, and it got really expensive really quick. And then we found, and we got meat birds, and we found out that Atwood's, our local home and ranch store, carries this thing that it's their brand. It's called Meat Bird. And I mean, it puts the weight on meat birds. And we looked at it, and it's got the calcium, it's got the protein, it's got everything that they need to survive. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. At $16 a bag versus $29 a bag, we went that direction, and we monitored it. And they grew up. They were at 8 weeks. They were fine. Everything was going great. So it's recommended, the high protein, okay? Not in my pocketbook, so we went with the meat birds. And if you can find something like that and non-medicated, because when Terrie gets them, she gets the electrolytes and all that stuff in a pack, everything that they need, and puts it in their water. And so we do it that way. Same thing with our baby chicks and stuff like that. You got your probiotics, all that kind of stuff. And none of our chickens have caught any diseases. None of our quail have died because of unnatural causes. So that's what we do. You find out what's best for you. But 22% absolutely works for our quail. And again, it's cheaper. So that's what we use. And their whole life, they're going to eat crumbles anyway. And then once they're adults, you can put them on the same adult crumble for chickens and stuff like that at 20%, 15%. They're still going to survive, okay, guys? So, you know, you hear all these channels talk about, you got to get this expense. You don't need to do that, okay? Do what's right for you and what's right for your birds, and that's why we use it. It's perfectly fine for them. So let's talk about feeders. When baby quail are hatched out, they're really small. I mean, baby chicks are giants compared to baby quail. And we've had quail in our videos where we've hatched them out. You can go back there and look at those videos and look at us hatching them out and stuff like that. So when we do our baby chicks, this is the kind of water we put in the brooder that we have in the house. And you can see it's got a pretty big cup down here on the bottom, okay? Baby quail will get into the water and they will drown themselves, okay? They will drown themselves literally, okay? And this is way too big for baby quail. Now, we didn't know about the other cup until someone had told us, because we had a few that drowned themselves, and we put these glass rocks inside here to take up the space so they can just get their beak in between the rocks and stuff. And they're really like marbles and stuff like that, decorative stuff. Terry washed them off and put them inside here so they could just go in there and they couldn't drown themselves. So that's what, if you only have this type right here, that's what we suggest. You can clean gravel, you can do whatever, and just put it inside there so they can't drown themselves. Because man, you sit there and you look at them, that little baby goes in there head first because they can't walk very well, and then they drown. Okay, so we use that, and we also use it for our chicks. So this is the one we get for the quail. Notice the difference, how tight that gap is, and the gap is smaller than the quail's body. Now Terry still drops small or things inside there so they can't drown, but she don't need to. Okay, just on the basic water, and screws on, and you can see the edge there. Okay, see the edge right there? That's really small. And that's what we use for the baby quail. And they will not drown themselves in that. And we've tested that theory. Okay, we've never had one drowned in this right here. So there you go, the small one's the one you want to do. Now for feeding them, what you want to do when they're babies is we bought this, okay, and the babies can get right over that lip and they can peck, and we keep this full. We just fill this up full of feed, screw that on top of there, and it just keeps them fed, okay? And you've probably seen these before, and they work just fine for baby quail. Not so much for the adults, because adults are messy. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. They make a lot of waste. So I'm going to show you one more, and then you've got the tray right here that you can use for quail. You can't use this for baby quail because it's too high. But if you're feeding your quail, that's just another way. They get their head inside there and they can't slash their face back and forth and shoot feed all over the place. And I'm going to show you how they waste their feed in a little bit. So that's just another way, and you can use that for baby chicks also. So when we're gone for our big quail for any length of time, we put one of these feeders in there. We fill it all the way up, and we'll still have feed in there after a long weekend when we go off to a meetup or something like that. So we use something like this, And Terry got this at Tractor Supply, and it works just perfect. It gravity feeds the feed down here, and the birds just eat, because they eat all the time, guys. So we got that. Now, one thing that I did do is I made this Tupperware, and it works great. They stick their heads in the hole and they eat, and if they slash back and forth, it stays inside the Tupperware. Okay, guys? Just got to make the holes just big enough. These are probably a little bit too big. Okay, I couldn't put this in with baby quail because they'd get inside there and poop in the feed and stuff like that. So you might think about putting a smaller hole, and you can just check it out. Make a smaller hole, see if they feed through there and they can get their head in there, and then you don't have to increase the hole. But these are just a hair too big, but I continue to use them because I don't want to waste anything. And all you do is pull the top off, put feed up to the line right here, okay, all the way around, and they eat off that all day long. And I put 2 of them in there for my quail here. All right, so there you go. So that's the feed and the water. Okay, so now that we went through the different kind of feeders and waters, and you choose the one you want, these are the ones I put in every day. And you can see this one, I put a block of wood on there because quail get aggressive when they don't have food. Okay, now I filled this one up this morning. All right, and that's what's left inside there. And that's how much they eat, and that's in both Tupperwares. You know, you fill it up to the line like I showed you, and 19 quail will eat that all the way down in one day. And then I won't feed them again till in the morning. But then they'll go to the water and they'll drink the rest of the day to process all that stuff through, and then they poop it out, and then you got a tray full of poo-poo. Okay? So that's just absolutely the minimum you can do. Now you can put cup waters system inside there and stuff like that, but all we do is we just use a jug right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but we just keep a jug, a large jug in there, and that was filled this morning, and it's right there. It was all the way to the top, and it's down to there already. So that's food and water. All right. Now, I said before, all my quail are Coturnix quails. Some are white and some are dark. This right here, come here, Mama. Come here, Mama. This is a female. This is the dark Coturnix. And you can tell she's a female with the lighter breast in the front right here. Okay. Other than that, you can't tell the difference between the males and the females when it comes to the dark Coturnix. Are you okay, mamas? Huh? Yeah, she's full of feed. Okay, so that's the female right there. Sorry about that. Come here, Bubba. Let me see if I can get one of these males. This is the male. He's got the red down here. Yeah, he's a male. He doesn't like to be handled. He's kind of light right here, but it's the darkness. Like she was a pale white on the front. But this is a male right here, and he's a dark Coturnix. And when we started breeding our birds, something special happened to a few of these birds. And I think that's him right there. This right here is a male, and he is a cross between a white Coturnix and a dark Coturnix, okay? And hey, calm down. And if you looked at him, he has a gray tint to him, and that's from the white Coturnix. So I'm guessing the dark Coturnix is a dominant, and he's like, if you may not see it on there, but he has like a silver tint to him. And I think that's just absolutely awesome. Okay? And that's a male because he's really heavy with the spots on his chest. And I've heard him crow too. This right here is a white Coturnix rooster. Okay? Now you can see on the back of their heads that spot right there. You know a white Coturnix male, when you hatch them out, they'll have a black dot on the back of their head. The females will not have that, okay? In most cases, okay? I do have some that's had the dark spot on there, but this one, you'll see it. It looks like someone put a black ink dot on the back of their head when they're hatched out. But that's the white Coturnix male right there. There you go. So, guys, that's it. Okay? That's it to raising quail. Water, feed, okay? A secure area so the predators can't get them because everything wants to eat them, to include Big Mike, okay? And the last thing you have to worry about is poop patrol. That's right, poop patrol. If you have them in a situation like that. And that's what I'm going to show you next, what a month's worth of poop looks like. Okay, so Big Mike's on poop patrol, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what the goings on is. And all I need is a pair of gloves so I don't get poop on my hands, and a scraper, a putty one. This is the only one I use with the quail. So what we do is that's tray number one. That's nothing but poop. Take the scraper. There you go. Put that in there. Since I feed the quail on that end, all that brown stuff down there, that's feed. Okay? That's feed. That's how much they waste even with the Tupperware. So there we go. And that's how I clean my trays. That's it. I'll do the next two. I won't bother you with that. But guys, that's it. Raising quail is simple if you can deal with this mess right here. And guys, when you put that in your compost pile and let it set with everything else, and you put it in your garden, awesome, 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 and your food will grow. But guys, that's what I got for you today. Quail 101 with Big Mike, the way I see it. So, hey, put your comments down in the bottom if you've got additional questions. I will get back with you. If you're another channel that is an expert on quail, please help me out. Tell me where I'm going wrong. Give me some suggestions to make Big Mike's life a little bit easier. Guys, hey, we love you. God bless you. And remember, be kind to one another. Help somebody in need. And always, always think of that. Hey, guys, and did you notice the new MT Homestead t-shirts are on our merch store, guys? Get you one. All right, guys. We love you. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video. Love you guys.